Welcome to the Pelicans Sports Corner. We got a great show for today. We're going to be talking about why the Pelicans didn't make any major moves when it comes to the trade deadline. We're also going to be talking about why the Pelicans traded Jose Alvarado and how this impacts the minutes going forward when it comes to this team. We're going to make sense of all this trade deadline nonsense, and we also going to make sense of why Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver probably was correct not making moves. We got a lot more of that on the Pelican Sports Corner.
No little lights up, Pelicans fly high from the Crescent City. Watch us touch the sky, Zion in the paint, thunder when it ride. Poodle with the splash, got that fire in his eye. Trey Murphy from deep, let it rain, let it pour. Herb and Jose locking down every floor. New blood coming, fizz, TV, Queen. Pelicans united, we chasing that dream. Big Z breaking rim, crowd going wild. Power in the lane, got defenders in denial. Hulu with the handles, crossing up the scene. Buckets from the arc, keep the scoreboard clean. Trade with the wingspan, shooting with the breeze. Catching alley oops, bring opponents to their knees. Herb John clamps, never giving up an inch. Jose with the steel, crowd jumping out the bench. Throw the lights up, Pelican fly high from the Crescent City.
Welcome in, Pelicans fans. You already know what it is, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, still hit that like button too, man. But as always, man, let's just dive right in. The Pelicans decided to trade Jose Alvarado, and they traded Jose Alvarado for 2 second-round picks, Dallin Terry, and they got rid of Jose Alvarado because truthfully, Jose Alvarado was losing minutes, but Jose Alvarado kept showing up. And I don't believe he should have been traded, but at the same time, I understand why he was traded. Guys like Jose Alvarado, guys like Najee Marshall, guys like that should not ever get out of your locker room. Because guys like that, no matter what the score is, no matter how large you're down, they fight for your team. They anchor your team. I think the Pelicans have a problem with offloading players that you need to win championships. Granted, the Pelicans are not in the championship window. I understand that. But you can have building blocks on your team as you're building. It's okay to have it. The problem with it is, because you drafted Jeremiah Fears, you have to understand that Jeremiah Fears needs growth, but he also needs minutes. At the same time, though, I don't think the Pelicans played it very smart. I don't think the Pelicans really should have thrown Jeremiah Fears in the fire the way they did. I get it. I think they should have given him more time to grow. Sort of like what the Saints did with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. I honestly think they should have started Jose Alvarado from the gate. Let him learn from a veteran. Let him learn from Jose Alvarado. Let Jose Alvarado really take him under his wing. And I think if they would have did that, I think we would have seen a lot more Jeremiah Fears, a lot more better when it comes to how he sees the floor, how he analyzes defenses and things like that. I think sometimes you have to sit back and watch to see guys play in order to catch on a little bit more faster. And granted, he's doing a phenomenal job. He's already doing a phenomenal job. But I'm saying in terms of just learning the little nuances, the technique things, the technical part of the game. And because Jeremiah Fears really caught on, and because he showed a lot of flashes, I think Jose Alvarado lost minutes, but I think he should have been starting. The more I think about it, the more I process it. Jose Alvarado was the type of player who, in spurts, a lot of the times, even with a lot of guys in a lineup, would look like the best player on the court at times. Not all the time. Yet, he was fearless. Same thing with Jeremiah Fears. He was fearless. The difference is Jose can adapt to any situation and still turn up. Not many guys can do that, especially with limited playing minutes. I don't think you guys understand how difficult it is to be on the bench and then come in on a heater. That's not normal. It's also not easy to do. We have to get to a point where we start analyzing these players and understand what guys like Najee Marshall and Jose Alvarado did to anchor these teams into playoff runs. But I appreciate Jose Alvarado, man. He's always going to be a fan favorite. The problem with it is him leaving again gives other teams a flux of talent that's coming from this Pelicans organization. Again, more talent is leaving this organization piece by piece, time and time again. And we still really don't have anything to show for it. 2 second-round picks, fine. A guy you just released, just bought out so he could be a free agent. I mean, what's the direction of the team? Where are we going with this thing? What are we doing? And nobody is talking. Nobody's giving answers. Nobody's getting in front of the media. Not that they obligated. But we have to find out what is the direction of the team. A lot of this gets answered when you get a head coach. So I'm not going to be overly emotional and try to justify the things that's going on. Yet, a coach is only as good as the players that you surround him with. That's on his roster. And you have no first round picks. Granted, you acquire 2 second round picks. So I'm going to try to make the most of what they're actually trying to do in their thought process. The positive I can take from this is although the Pelicans traded Jose Alvarado, now they can lean more into guys like Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fierce logging more minutes, guys like Trey Murphy continuing to rise in the ranks in this league. But at the same time, we also can start to play off the guys. See if these guys can work in other positions. See if you got a valuable center on your roster. See if guys like Carl and Misa could take control of this center spot. See if Jeremiah Fierce can anchor down and lead a team. See if you can play off Queen. Many things like that. See if Zion is in your future plans. That's a big one. The problem with it is you're continuously losing. And there's been teams that turned it around, but you're continuously losing and you got a bunch of bad contracts. You have the Jordan Poole contract. Nobody wanted him. That's not good, folks. You got Kevon Looney, who's sitting on the bench religiously. You got Jordan Hawkins, who you don't know how to use. You have guys like DeJounte Murray that's about to get off the snide, who literally probably doesn't even want to be down there. You know, so all of this is chaotic, but at the same time, it's going to shape the roster. The good thing about them not making trades is that during the offseason, people are going to be sellers. Much more than it was during this free agent time. They had to make moves in a pinch, and usually teams take advantage of bad teams that make moves in a pinch. And without all that being fair, Joe Dumars didn't just give away players for anything. That is a positive, folks. I know you wanted Ja, I know all of this, but that is a positive. At least he's not willing to get hit over the head with a stupid deal and take it and offload more talent, which the Pelicans consistently do, for somebody else to take the talent and lead them to the promised land. So at least they have that going for them. At the same time, we should be big game hunting come this summer. And what I mean big game hunting, we got to find somebody to go help with this team. We already know we need a coach. But I'm here to tell you folks, it's time to start getting real about what's going on with this team. And what I'm talking about Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is emerging into a bona fide all-star right before our eyes. I get Zion may have the most talent. But make no mistake, Trey Murphy has the highest ceiling. And Trey Murphy should be the guy the Pelicans building around. I make no mistakes in saying that, and I will not apologize for that. Trey Murphy III is the cornerstone player of the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Pelicans, if they had any sense, will sell Trey Murphy to whatever head coach that's coming in next year and start building around Trey Murphy. You already have a guy. That is a sniper that can attract other talent to play with another sniper. Now, I'm going to sound crazy. But it takes crazy to win. But why not try to go get a Steph Curry? That sounds crazy. Steph ain't going nowhere. Sure, but why not try? Steph has given everything to Golden State. Everything. He gives them championships. Do any of you see Golden State building a team that they can actually win another championship with? Be honest. So why not play with another form of Klay Thompson, a more athletic one, and Trey Murphy? Now, will he be willing to lead a bay? Probably not. It's wishful thinking. But I'm saying that to say that's the type of mindset, mind frame that the GM has to have. Also, Troy Weaver. We have to get another all-star or superstar alongside this guy with an emerging Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fizz. It has to come together organically like that for this team to be able to give you something as fans to compete. You can't compete without direction. Most importantly, you can't compete without leadership and coaching. You're seeing it right before your eyes. I told you a ton of pods ago. The minute they announced James Borrego, he wasn't the answer. But a lot of you got excited when he had ripped off a 5-game win streak. But I told you, he's not that much better than Willie Green. If he's better at all. At least Willie Green has 2 successful seasons under his belt where he lead the team to at least the play-in and the playoffs. James Borrego has never did that. That's a fact. So I'm saying that to say, when we analyze this team, we have to start making sure every single move, when it's discussed, it is Trey Murphy, Jeremiah Fizz, Derek Queen. How do we find players to build around these guys? This is not discrediting Zion. This is not discounting Zion. This is not saying Zion still can't be a focal piece in New Orleans. What I am saying is, at some point, you have to do something different. Because doing things over and over and over again is a form of insanity. It's time to get guys that care in the building. And it's not to discredit the roster that they already have or the players that they already have. There's many guys that care. But to enhance the roster and to help players emerge into their roles, you're going to have to get players doing what they do best. We know how good Herb Jones is. We know how good Zion is. We know how good Trey Murphy is. Fizz and Queen. But is it time to start having that talk like I've been telling you guys that Queen should play power forward? All of you ask me, what does it matter? His defense is what's matter. This is why I've been telling you guys that. Do you want Derek Queen trying to guard Embiid, Jokic, Cat? Or do you want him to try to guard Julius Randle, AD? You know, guys like that. You want him to be in the best position to do what he do. Facilitate, play off a pick and roll, back people down, fade away. All of the things Derek Queen does well. But as far as defensively, you want him to continue to give you effort. Because being a defensive enforcer is not his game. And you knew that when you drafted him. It's just not. So, to make a long story short, now we will find out the rest of the season how guys are going to fight, how these roles are going to continue to be defined, if they're going to even lead these guys into a certain direction to where they can grow from all the losing. I'm ready to get it all over with so they can get a coach. It's time. Sam Cassell, Mike Malone, whoever. They need somebody with some skin in the game. They need a guy who's been coaching guys who plays at an elite level. It's the only way. Because this team, a lot of the time, lacks focus. Just gave up a 30-point lead. This team needs somebody who can help them develop. That's just not on trainers and staff and mentors like DeAndre Jordan. You have to define these roles. Yves Missi and Carlo, which way? Come on, man. Now, if guys like Yves Missi, Zion, and all DeJounte and all these guys got interest now, they're really going to have interest in the summer and during the draft when people draft odds is not what they think. This is why I want to talk to you about why they should have waited. Because teams are going to be disappointed when they don't get top 5 in the lottery. Teams are going to be disappointed when they're out of the lottery, because it's going to happen. So teams are going to have to find another way to acquire talent. And Yves Missi and all of these guys are still going to be under contract. And the Pelicans will be able to sell them to the highest bidder. And desperation is at its all-time high during the offseason when the big names like Giannis is getting traded and shaping the landscape. So you have to give kudos to Troy Weaver, and you have to give kudos to Joe Dumars, because these are the guys that teams are gonna be trading for. And now you making a sneaky deal. Not saying that they'll do it again, but you have to think big like this. What if you can get a Paolo Banchero? Not saying they're going to do it. I know it sounds crazy, but crazier things that happen. They didn't trade Luka. Nobody is untouchable during the offseason if you give the right package. The Lakers have proven this in the Boston Celtics time and time and time again. So, if we could offload some of these bad contracts, we could offload some of these players for some picks, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Pelicans have 2 late first-round picks, which would be good for them because they need talent. They need bodies. They need switchable bodies. Let's make that clear. Guys who can switch, guys who can defend, guys who can shoot the 3. They already have guys who perfect the ISO ball. We've seen it. We've seen it all season. They love ISO ball. We already have guys who can perfect that. Now we need to get into a system where these guys share the ball at an elite clip so that they can play team basketball and whip up on the NBA. It's the only way to success. Any other way is not advantageous when it comes for their growth. When it comes to the playing on the court, we've seen it. Every time they get selfish, they get beat. Every time they play with moxie, every time they play sharing the ball, every time they do the right things, the little things that is easily forgotten on the court, they usually win. Now, they have mental lapses in some of these quarters where they're giving up big leads, but they're young. They're going to do that. You got to go through the fire. You have to. In order to learn, to mold yourself, to harden yourself. So it's going to be a lot of growing pains, but it can all be turned around in a season. So I said, before we panic, before we dump on Joe Dumars and Miss B and all of these people, before we do all of that, let's just wait and see. Not too long ago, we had the same feeling about the Saints, didn't we? But I know what you're about to say when I said that. Mickey's won a freaking Super Bowl. I know. But that was in 2009. It's 2025. So he ain't been winning lately, but seems like he righted the ship. Give Joe Dumars a full 2 to 3 seasons to see what he do. We have to. We don't have no choice. Just maybe he got a bigger plan. Just maybe he used this trade deadline to see who's really on the trade block that they wasn't reporting. Just maybe he have a deal in place with a player you didn't even think you can get. The trade deadline is just not about getting players that everybody know. Sometimes it's about getting players that people didn't even think you have a shot at. Washington with Anthony Davis. So, I said to you guys before I exit, before I leave you to your evening, hopefully you're having a good evening, just be patient. I know you're tired. I know you're tired of losing. I know you're tired of the direction. I know you're tired of the losses. But just be patient. In life, sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward. And the only way to do that is to let these guys battle it out, find your bright spots, and build around them. So, like I said, during these trade deadlines, you never know the conversations behind. You didn't see the Luka trade coming. Nobody did. The world didn't. But you never know what GMs are doing and who they're selling at the trade deadline. You never know if deals are in place or close to guys you didn't even imagine your team getting. So just be patient. Be patient. I know it's tough. It's tough for me to come up here and talk about it because you want excitement. You want coverage. It's going to get there. You just got to be patient, though. I know y'all probably like, man, I hate the positivity, man. I hate taking the high. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you got to see things from their perspective. And the only way to do that is put yourself in their shoes. You just never know who's coming. You just never know a player you can acquire. So be patient. Stick in there. Keep supporting them. They're going to make you mad. They're going to piss you off. They're going to do all of that. But you got to hang in there until the offseason. You will get clarity this offseason. That's a fact. And then after you get your clarity, then you nitpick. Not before. Because we knew that this was going to be a long season. We knew. We already seen the losses pile up. We already seen the coach fired. We're not going anywhere. So just hunker down, relax, drink your wine, and let's keep it pushing. But that's all I got, man. That's all I got, man. I just try to make sense of all of this, man. Because it's only one way, too. Just relax. And let's focus on getting better. Let's focus on developing these young players. Let's focus on seeing how these guys thrive. The Jeremiah Fears, the Derek Queen, the Trey Murphy, continuously, shout out to Trey Murphy, continuously knocking shots down, putting up 40-point games. He's ready. He's ready to be led. Zion is looking like he's playing more games consistent. He's looking more healthy. So things are coming along. Knock on wood. Don't want to speak too soon. Things are coming along. Just not the way and at the speed that you guys want. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you guys for everything you do for supporting me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, man, thank you for watching the Pelican Sports Corner.